This is the Sheepshead Bay subway station on the Brighton line, and recently, the MTA has added functional elevators to this station, joining the other train stations that are accessible.
Attention everyone, there are over 150 accessible subway stations. Please check mta.info/elevators for real-time elevator status at your station.
However, that 150 is only a quarter of the city's subway stations, which means the majority of the system is incapable to serve those in a wheelchair. To understand why this is a legal problem, we need to understand the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause and a scrutiny system the government follows when it comes to making laws that appear discriminatory. For starters, the Equal Protection Clause briefly states that all citizens must be treated equally, but as we know in society, that's not always the case. For example, there's an age requirement for possessing a firearm. That's what the scrutiny system is for, and it's divided among 3 levels: strict scrutiny, intermediate scrutiny, and rational basis. In this case, disabled people are being treated indifferently by the city's transit system, but because disability isn't a suspect class, the government only needs rational basis to justify any law or action for the discriminatory effect. However, the MTA doesn't have a reason to exclude wheelchair-dependent individuals from using their system, and a similar Supreme Court precedent is capable of supporting that statement. In 2004, the Supreme Court heard the case of Tennessee v. Lane, and the majority, explained by Justice John Paul Stevens, said the state was in violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act when disabled individuals were unable to reach the top floors of a courtroom, and that reasonable accommodations were to be made to allow disabled persons to exercise their fundamental rights. Given the courtroom is a public place and so is a city's public transit system, that same precedent applies today as it did in 2004. At the end of all this, the goal, which is already in motion because the MTA is currently adding and renovating elevators, is to make most, if not all, of the station's elevator or ramp accessible. Thus, disabled people don't have to travel further to access trains or have problems reaching them at all. One great example would be the tallest station in the United States. Also, there is one individualized recommendation I'd like to put out there. Why is every train line platform at Coney Island Stillwell Avenue ramp accessible except for the D train? In case it isn't known, the F, Q, and N platform have ramps from the platform to the mezzanine, but the D train has stairs in the mix, which isn't suitable for Americans with disabilities. Yes, there is an elevator, but it has to be accessed from a different platform, and that platform's elevator is currently shut down. So the recommendation is to adjust the ramp so all 4 lines can be accessed without problems.
This is a Manhattan-bound Q local train. The next stop is 7th Avenue.